Uh, Sending out the stream. Give me a moment, and then we'll start talking about this one. Start talking about this one. Alrighty. Welcome to Missouri Tigers Postgame Live. I am Zach Remelius. Like I am here. My hair is disheveled from that game. From Missouri Tigers Postgame Live, Mizzou drops one to Alabama, 27-24. Look, man, in the past, and we'll get into it, there are some positives to take away from this game. There are a lot of positives to take away from this football game. There is. And we'll get into them. We'll be here for a little bit as Indiana and Oregon. And give me one moment. I'm going to put on Texas and Oklahoma on my second screen. I'm going to get Ole Miss off, even though they're driving. So grab some popcorn. We're going to hang out for a little bit and talk about this football game. In the past, Mizzou has not belonged on the same field as Alabama. They just haven't. Talent-wise, athletically, they just, even under good coaches like Gary Pankow, Eli last year, they have not belonged on the same football field. Today, they belonged on the same football field. Today, yes, there was lack of some execution from from players. Bo did not have a great day. We're going to get into Prbula talk here a little bit. But today was about the coordinators that Eli hired. We'll get into them a little bit, but Mizzou loses 27-24. Guys, it's just another case. Mizzou's good. They're a good football team. They're not good enough. They're just not. This is why high school recruiting is important. When Bama needed it, they could go to their high-level players. Ty Simpson. Ryan Williams is mostly shut down today, but Jeremy Bernard. Jam Miller had a really nice game today. He 20 carries for 85 yards against Mizzou defensive front that had been really good against the run. Their defense stepped up and made plays when it mattered. Mizzou's didn't. They just didn't. When they needed to make a play, Mizzou defenders were lost or guys were making plays. We'll get into that last the touchdown that kind of clinched it for Bama. We'll get into that a little bit because I think that's just the perfect example of a little bit of everything, coaching and player. There are some positives. I thought the O-line actually played pretty okay today. Bo is I think Bo's fine. He was running around a lot when there was nothing there. I actually thought that the offensive line had a pretty good day. Bama did a really nice job tackling in the run game. They didn't allow, like Hardy, a lot of the times can make like those negative 2-yard runs into like 10, 11-yard runs. And today he was only getting like 4 or 5 on those. Incredibly frustrating. And we're going to get into why it was frustrating. I'm not here to rant and rave and yell. But I'm going to get a little upset about some stuff because, look, if they had gotten crushed, like I thought they might for a little bit there, when it was 17-7 and Bama got the ball back, I thought there was that would have been like, okay, crush the players a little bit. I could have crushed the staff for recruiting as well, but this falls onto the coordinators today. I thought both coordinators did not have a great day. I thought Batoon, for like 60% of the game, actually did do a pretty good job. But those opening few drives and the last couple drives, before the oh my God, Bama's going to run it 3 times and punt, I thought was awful. And I think Kirby Moore had a disaster class. I think that was the worst game Kirby Moore's called in his, and Mizzou's been shut out, and they scored 24 points against Alabama, which is the most amount of points they've ever scored against Alabama. But I thought he was awful. I thought he was awful today. I thought Kirby Moore was awful. And look, probably not a great look that you were interviewing for the Arkansas job in the middle of before Bama week. It's a nice drive by Indiana. Look at you go. Look at you go, Hoosiers. 3rd and 7. Nice play. Good, not good enough, man. You're just not good enough. You have good players. You have good moments, but you're just not good enough to beat these elite teams. Now, your season's not over. You could still go 10-2. We'll get more into like what's coming up here in a minute as my cat yells at me. But Alabama 27, Mizzou 24. Mizzou's a good football team. They're not good enough to win games like this. And a part of the reason they're not is, look, let's just break the elephant in the room. Kirby Moore, awful today, awful day. So Mizzou scored on their opening drive, and that was a great scripted drive. You had 3 weeks basically, because you played UMass to prepare for that drive, and you executed it beautifully. 6 plays in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Really, the Prebula 23-yard run and then a 26-yard pass to Norfleet. It was gorgeous. Alabama comes right back, punches it in. Where I start getting mad, let's see. First down. Okay. How's the interception? Hang on. So on the drive with the fake punt, it is 20. Here's where I start getting really irritated. It is 20-17. Plenty of time left. You have the best running back in the country. And you do not give him, and someone asked, I think David asked, thanks Dave for being here. No, he did not touch the ball in the fourth quarter. You had 2 drives down 20-17. Oh, I apologize. He did have 2. And then on 3rd and 4, you threw a pick. Good bit, though, that you went for it on 4th and 4 and finally ran the damn football. Look, I know Mizzou fans are going to be upset. Look, I thought Jamal made the line to gain, but once they called it short, there was no good camera angle for that, and I'm not 100% convinced he did get it. So, but you have to run the football. If you look at the box score, I came alive pretty quickly. I made my banners, and we're going to go because I'm gonna be here for a little bit. 12 carries for 52 yards for Ahmad Hardy. Long of 11. Not great. Also, Jamal Roberts, 5 carries for 50 yards. So I know you got game scripted at the end, so it's a little out of whack, but 28 throws compared to 17 carries for your running backs. Bo Prebula was involved on 39 plays. 11 carries, 28 throws. Your running backs, 17. Now, again, I understand the last, let's see. How many plays did they run after Bama went up 2 scores? 7 plays, 7. Okay, so 14 of those throws, basically. Okay. So I kind of understand, maybe the attempts are a little out of whack there. This was a close. You were never out of it. You went down 21-6 like that against Kansas, and you never stopped running the football. I don't know if Kirby Moore thinks he has Dante Moore out there. I don't know, with all the talk about what the disaster class that Drew Aller's been this year. Oh, Bo's better. Look, we're going to show Bo off. He's not that good of a thrower. He's not as bad as I think some people thought he might be. Sure, it was a terrible spot, but you can't let those kind of things decide games. Run the football. Your offensive line was creating movement. It's Alabama. You were moving them off the ball. And we're going to throw it with our quarterback, who's not a great thrower of the football. And he did throw 2 picks. Look, and full credit to Mizzou. I don't think they played that well. I don't think Bama played great either. And you had the ball with a chance to win at the end because your freshman wide receiver, who you finally threw the ball to at the end of the game, is awesome. He led the team in receiving, 3 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Maybe get him more snaps than, I don't know, Josh Manning, who again had 1 catch. Kevin Coleman, only 1 catch for 2 yards. Bama did a really nice job taking him away. Yeah, he did, and it was tragically awful. After the first drive, Again, you scored 3 touchdowns in this game. One, an impeccable opening drive. Well executed. Bo made a play with his legs, kind of what you hope he can do, and you score. Excellent. The second touchdown came on a short field because you forced a fumble on an unbelievable play by Zion Young. And the third drive, Bama was playing prevent. And look, it was a nice drive. I'm not going to take anything away from that. You had a couple guys make some really nice plays, including Bo. Middle of the game, you did nothing. You kicked a field goal at the end of the first half. Awful. Awful. Now let's get to Corey Batoon. You had 2 weeks to prepare for this football game against the Alabama Crimson Tide, who cannot run the football. Jem Miller did run the ball okay today, but it was not. It was towards the middle of the game. He had the one bad penalty. David, look, man, it would have been like 3rd and 16. Do you really trust them to get off the field in that situation? Because I certainly don't. We'll get to it. So you had 3 weeks basically to prepare for this football game in your home stadium. And what do? First drive of the game. You have the dumb Zion Young penalty. Yes, granted, it was dumb. And it wasn't like, oh, is it? No, like you can't do that. But then immediately, 2-yard pass. Then you have a 3rd and 8. But after all that, you force a 3rd and 8. 18-yard pass. Then a Ty Simpson run. Ty Simpson pass for 21 yards. Incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 at the 18. An offsides penalty. Again, dumb from Zion, but he made up for it later with the strip. And you force another 3rd down. They score. It's 7-7. Okay, look, Bama's a good team. They can script drives too. All right, then Mizzou punts because 3-yard run, incomplete pass on 3rd and 4. Why you're not running the ball again, I don't know. All right, now back to Mizzou. Ty Simpson, Dermy Bernard, 10 yards. Kevin Riley, 3 yards. Penalty on Mizzou for unnecessary roughness. Marvin Burks gets called for targeting. Look, it probably wasn't targeting, but Marvin Burks is awful. So getting him getting kicked out of the game and them having to play Santana Banner and like some of these other guys, maybe not the end of the world, but Marvin Burks is awful. Anyway, so then it's 1st and 10. You and then they just punch it down the field. You give up a first on 3rd and 1. That's fine. I understand that. 1st and 15 at the 19-yard line. Again, Bama now behind the sticks. It is 1st and freaking 15. Passing complete to Ryan Williams. 3rd and 12. 3rd and 12. You can force a field goal here. And guess what? It's 10-7, and Mizzou still has a lot of momentum. Nope. 16-yard touchdown to Isaiah Ward. And I thought, and I'll get into it later, I actually thought the corners I thought Trey Norwood made himself some money today. He was excellent. And Toriano Pride, I don't think played bad either. Like he gave up the conversion late that kind of clinched it or made it like 1% odds of winning. But I don't think I thought this might have been his best game as a Tiger. Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams did nothing today. They did nothing. But then Mizzou comes right back and punts. Again, Hardy, 9-yard run, gets a first down. What are the next 3 plays, Kirby Moore? Pass, sack, punt. Bama comes back, and you force a field goal. You have a 3rd and 4. Bama gets it, because of course they do, because you have no answers. Because you play this soft wuss shell that a stiff breeze provides more. Let me go back. Hang on. ESPN's stupid replay mode drives me nuts when I'm going through their thing because I didn't pull it up on my computer. I do it. Woo. No, knock it off with the replay mode. I don't want that. You stupid thing. Anyway. Then you have 3rd and 4, sack, and then they kick a field goal. Great. So now it's 17-7. Mizzou has a decent drive that gets blown up by penalties. But after falling down behind 17-7, what does Mizzou do? Run for 2. Okay, you used Ahmad Hardy. Pass a weird, like, outside zone, QB power. I'm not quite sure what it was. I think it was outside zone. And you punt. And look, and here's where I'll give Corey Batoon some credit. Middle of this game, they stopped playing that soft cover, that shell defense that they love to play, which does not work when you have an NFL caliber quarterback, and it hasn't in 2 years. Connor Wegman, who's not even good, carved them up. But Texas A&M has talent offensively. Last year, Jalen Milroe in the second half kind of carved them up. Lenore Sellers carved them up. Jalen Daniels carved them up. Lenore Sellers this year missed a couple throws, but they were there. Anyway, Alabama comes out, first play, fumble, incredible play by Zion Young, makes up for that penalty and the dumb taunting call that he took. Great. Good, great, grand. 3 plays, 19 yards. Bo Perbula shakes a defender, gets into the end zone. It's 17-17. You have momentum. 17-7 freaking teen against Alabama in your house. The biggest game Mizzou has played in 12 damn years. You tie the game in the third quarter. Then, oh my God, you force a punt. You forced a punt. Mizzou gets the football back. What do? Ahmad Hardy, run for 2 yards. Okay. Play action, Marquise Johnson, 11 yards. And ESPN's messed up. But then you punt. Bama then 17 plays, 66 yards. But guess what? You forced a field goal. Win for Corey Batoon. Look, I'm doing a lot of crapping on Corey Batoon here. He did legitimately from the middle of the second quarter until the middle of the fourth quarter, I thought coached an excellent football game, and I thought the players executed wonderfully. Look, 17 plays. Would you have liked to gotten a stop on 2nd and 11? Sure. 3rd and 1. And did they get a little lucky that the Alabama Ty Simpson just tripped and landed on his knee, and then they couldn't punch it in from like the 1? Yes. But those kind of things are going to happen in a football game. You forced it. Okay, now you get the ball back. What do? You get a 5-yard pass, a 7-yard pass. First down, Tigers at the 37-yard line. 5-yard run, Ahmad Hardy. 1-yard run. And then what do? Oh, you pass, and it got picked off. And then Bama comes back. 10 plays, 29 yards. But guess what? You force a 49-yard field goal, and he missed it. It is 20-17, fourth quarter, 15-game home winning streak. Your chance to announce to the damn world the Missouri Tigers are here. We're here to play football. We're here to compete for SEC championships. Maybe not national championships. They don't have the talent to do that. But compete for SEC championships, playoff spots. You're up 2-0 in the SEC if you win this football game. And what do? Oh, you first play, run it with you pass with your quarterback. He's sacked. A 1-yard pass, a 7-yard pass, and then you go for it on 4th and 4 to the short side of the field, which doesn't make any sense. Everyone in the world saw that you were going to do this, and now they have the ball at the 37. And this is where I'm going to lose it with Corey Batoon because his defenses have no clutch factor, just none. So you come out, you look, not a great spot. But you can't put yourself in that position. A great effort by Jamal Roberts, great effort by the Alabama defender. You just can't put yourself in that position. Is what it is. Damon Wilson comes out and gets a sack. First play, crowd's fired up. Fourth quarter, in your building, 3-point game. You have driven them out of field goal range. And then the next play, Kevin Riley, who gets basically stacked up, -7 yards. It is 3rd and 20 freaking 4. 3rd and 24. And you go back to this stupid shell, and guess what? You make it really easy for Kalen DeBoer and Ty Simpson, who might win the Heisman because he is excellent. And you give up a 16-yard pass that should have been like, if you give up like 8 there, fine. You give up 10. Sure, it's 4th and 14 at like the 50. Yeah, they still probably punt the football. And look, you get the ball back, and you did a great job. But he got 16, and he got 4th and 8, which is very convertible for this Alabama offense. And then Ty Simpson, look, Toriano Pride played it really well. That was just an NFL first-round caliber talent throw. That is a throw a Mizzou quarterback has not been able to make since Drew Lock. Brady Cook couldn't make that throw. Kelly Bryant can't make that throw. Connor Bazelak certainly couldn't make that throw. Bo Pribula can't make that throw. That was a dump. But you're in that situation because you play that wuss shell defense on 3rd and 24. Blitz them. Send us something. You have to try. Dre Norwood played up. You know how many catches Ryan Williams had today? He had 0. He's not the best receiver on that team. Jeremy Bernard is. He had 0 catches. You did an unbelievable job at corner. I thought Pride played well. I thought Hall played well. I thought Norwood played really well. They really limited these Alabama receivers. They made guys that not named Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams beat you, and they did. And this throw, and Ty Simpson did. And then on 4th and goal at the 1, like, look, you're getting sucked. I can't even be mad about that. Everybody just collapses and they throw a wide open touchdown. Like, that kind of is what it is. You know, like, it's just a great play call. As was the play where Ty flipped it to Jam Miller. That was just an unbelievable play as well. Like, look, Ty Simpson might win the Heisman, man. Like, he's really good. He might win the Heisman, guys. Like, but you still had every opportunity to win this football game. And I think your coordinators let you down. You outgained Alabama 330 to 325. Bama averaged 4.4 yards or 2.8 yards per rush. You take away Ty Simpson's 10 carries for 7 yards. Like, Alabama from the running backs got 32 carries for 107 yards. Not great, but like 3.2, 3.3 yards per carry. That's pretty good. Ty Simpson passing game, only 200 yards on 31 attempts. Like, I thought, for the most part, the secondary, like the middle of the game, I legitimately thought Corey Batoon did a good job. So I can't say I don't play for the team. I can't say that he had a god-awful day. I'm a little kinder to him, but no clutch factor on this team. And Latsier Brooks, 4 catches, 58 yards. Isaiah Horton, 3 catches for 34 yards. Yeah, and 3 catches, 20 yards for Jerry Bernard. Ryan Williams was out there doing freaking cardio, and you still gave up 27 points. God, just frustrating. Khalil Jacobs with the sack, Zion Young with the sack. Damon Wilson, what a pickup he was. 2 sacks today. He's unbelievable. He's got 5.5 sacks now in 6 games. Because of this defensive line, Mizzou's going to have a lot. And I think the defense will rebound pretty nicely. Jackson Arnold sucks. So if your quarterback is bad, Mizzou will probably do a decent job of shutting you down. But if your quarterback has an ability to make plays, or your offense has an ability to make plays, they're done. They're cooked. So we'll see what happens. That's a touchdown for Oregon. We'll see what happens next week against Auburn. If this loss becomes 2, your season's over. So you have to rebound with a win next week. Let's touch on Bo. Today was kind of what I think most people thought he would be at Missouri. Not bad. Certainly not bad, but not a difference maker. He was not a difference maker today. 11 carries for 61 yards. You take away a 23-yard rush. 10 carries for 38 yards, so nothing great. 16 for 28 throwing the ball for $167, 2 touchdowns. He did run one in, of course. And the last pick of the game was dreadful. That can't happen. You had Coleman and Johnson wide open, especially Johnson, who was near the sideline. So you could have picked up a first and run out of bounds. He's just not a difference maker, man. Like, Mizzou, it's the one bugaboo Mizzou has right now is you don't have an elite quarterback. And you haven't, as good as Drew Lock was, he wasn't like elite. Like even in his 44 touchdown year, you won 7 football games. You've not had a quarterback that has elevated you since James Franklin. Like Franklin in 2013, I thought elevated that team pretty well, although they had 4 guys in the offensive line get drafted. So it might have been since Chase to be, and Blaine obviously was awesome too, but Matty certainly didn't. Drew, I don't think elevate, like he still won 7 games. And I know it's a team sport, but you don't have an elevator at quarterback. You have a guy that is as he's an amoeba. He'll be as good as the pieces are around you. And I think Mizzou has pretty decent pieces. Alubade needs to get more touches and more receptions and more playing time over like Josh Manning. I said the same thing last year for Josh Manning over Mookie Cooper. And then Mookie Cooper got hurt. Josh Manning got more opportunities. You need to throw more opportunities for the freshman out there. He looks great. And look, Bo locked onto him for the last couple drives. And he locked him on that last throw. And you had 2 guys wide open. Bo's now got 5 picks in 6 games for what it's worth. Not good enough. He's just – you have Ahmad Hardy, who's the best running back in the country. You have Jamal Roberts, who is really good. And you just don't give them football. Someone said he was on a bike pretty early in the game. He didn't look like he was full speed for a lot of that game. And Bama, I think, did what Mizzou did with Bernard and Williams. Like, look, Bo, if you're going to throw the football, it's not going to be to Brett Norfleet. He only had 3 catches. And it's not going to be to Kevin Coleman. Other guys are going to have to beat us. And the freshman didn't get a freaking play until the end of the game. So, I'm shocked you didn't do things on reverse sweeps. But look, under Kirby Moore, we watched it last year. How many times did it take until the 4th quarter for like Luther Burden to get in any sort of rhythm? Like it constantly happens with this guy. And we'll see what happens next week against Auburn. Because look, man, I don't want to be too negative. Like you covered. Like Vegas nailed it. Like that you were a 3.5-point favorite or underdog and you lost by 3. Which means they think you're about, I would probably say 2 points. They probably give 2 points for home field for Faroe right now. They think Alabama's about 6 points, a touchdown better than you, 5.5, 6 points on a neutral, which that's kind of how it looked today. But look, man, because of how the SEC's formatting, your life's about to become so much harder. You have to win these kinds of games, and if you're just good, not good enough, you're never going to make the playoff. You're never going to be anything more than like an 8-14. And maybe that's who they are this year. Like you had a real opportunity today to not – this wouldn't have been a steal. Like you played pretty even. Whoever won that game deserved to win that game. This wasn't like some other – it's like when you look at the success rate chart that Stats Award puts out, it's probably going to look pretty good for both. Like Bama probably was better on a down-to-down basis. But it won't be a huge massacre like it's shown to be sometimes. Like if Mizzou won it, they would have deserved it. And I think they do win it if they get their best play. They just refuse to give their best player the ball the entire second half. It drove me up a freaking wall. And then they didn't get Kevin Coleman involved, reverses, jet sweeps, just something to get him the ball. Look, the coordinators let you down today. It's simple as that. My next point was going to be talking about the secondary. I kind of already talked about the secondary. I think the coordinators, like that's my main takeaway from today, is the coordinators let you down. I never liked the Corey Batoon hire. I said that last year a lot. Look, it's great that you can shut down UMass and Jackson Arnold and all these crap offenses that stink and couldn't score against the high school defense. UMass, freaking Louisiana with 2 backup quarterbacks for what it's worth. Central Arkansas. It's great that you can hold them to like negative yards rushing. Awesome. Cool. Great. But then you play these teams and you have no ability to get stops when it matters. 2 weeks ago, or how long ago was that now? 3 weeks ago, you gave up 34 yards on a 3rd and 37. Keep that in mind. So I know people were mad at Zion Young for the penalty, but I have no faith this team could prevent them from getting a 3rd and 17. Just none whatsoever. And I don't put that all on the players, because it happened last year, and we had different players at some positions last year. And you have a veteran group. That's what is so weird about this. Like, Jalen Catalon's been in college since I was in college. I'm 29. Stephen Hall's played a lot. Toronto Pride is his 2nd year in the program. Dre Norwood, this is like year 4. You have a veteran group, so it can't all just be on them not knowing where to go or any of this other crap. You play this goofy, soft shell defense where if you have a pulse, you're going to be able to score. I mean, just look at Bama's drive. Like, what was Bama on 3rd down today? Bama was 6 for 15 on 3rd down, but 3 for 3 on 4th down. So they were at 50% on converting. Cool. Like, Ty Simpson, 200 throws or 200 yards on 31 throws. That's pretty good. But look at some of these Bama scoring drives. 11 plays, 10 plays, 9 plays, 17 plays, 10 plays, 20 yards. You missed a field goal. 8 plays to go 40 yards. Like, yes, it's great that you prevented explosives. It's awesome. And that should be commended. Again, I'm going at Corey Batoon a lot here because the Kirby Moore thing's really obvious. You didn't give the ball to your best player. Touchdown Indiana. This Indiana team's much better than last year's team. You didn't give the ball to your best player when it mattered. And that's going to haunt Mizzou fans forever because, look, what's next is Auburn, and it's a must-win. Then you go to Vandy, must-win. You got Texas A&M at home, must-win. Mississippi State and Arkansas, you should win. So you have 5 games left against, or 4 games left against teams I consider like as good or better, or 4 tough games left. Mississippi State's better than I thought they would be, but you should win that game at home. Arkansas stinks. So you have 4 games left. 3 of them are on the road. You have to win 3 of them. You have to beat Auburn. You have to beat Vandy. You have to beat Texas A&M, or you have to beat Oklahoma. You can lose 1 of those games, and 3 of them are on the road. Are they going to give the ball to Buff to home? You had a bye. He didn't have to play that much against UMass. You had 3 weeks for this, and you gave the best running back in the country. Oh, he's a Heisman contender. He's an All-American candidate, and you gave him 12 carries. You gave him 20-something against UMass. How many do you have? Let me be fair before I freak out. You had 24 against UMass, and it's not like Bama went up 10. I understand that, but it was a tie game or a 3-point game until 4 minutes left. And you just did not give him the ball, or at least give it to Jamal Roberts. This offensive line, I thought, played okay. I don't have the PFF grades. I'm not a scout. So, if the PFF grades come out, the Mizzou offensive line was just getting destroyed, fine. I understand that. But from watching the game on my 60-inch television, I thought the Mizzou offensive line played okay. They played pretty good considering you're playing Alabama. And you just didn't give the ball to your best player. So we'll see. You have 2 more games until your next bye week, and both of them you have to win. You go to Auburn next week. It's going to be a Saturday night. We'll see what happens with that. We'll we'll see what happens. We'll watch Auburn tonight, obviously, when they play Georgia at home. Should be a fun one. Georgia's only like a 3.5 point favorite, so we'll see what happens tonight. Well, obviously, but I would not be shocked if Mizzou's an underdog next week, or at Vanderbilt. I want to kind of talk about the wide receiver rotation. I touched on this. Josh Manning's just not he's just not a guy. I had high hopes for him. He's just not an SEC guy. Like, you needed a third option to emerge, and it's got to be Olubade. It's going to be the freshman. It is. Kevin Coleman got taken out of the game today. Great credit Bama on that. Credit Kane Womack. Brett Norfleet got taken out of the game outside of that first big touchdown and then 2 underneath throws in the middle of the game. Great job, Kane Womack, considering Bama was missing a couple linebackers. And other than that, Josh Manning, Marquise Johnson, nothing. Bo missed early. I think it was on the second drive. Bo missed Marquise wide open for 6. He just missed him. He was rolling out to his right. Like, it would have been a tough throw, but if you're going to win these kinds of games, you have to have a quarterback that can make those throws. So, super frustrating. As we're here at Missouri Tigers post-game live, I'm just kind of ranting and raving. Alabama drops Mizzou, first home loss in 15 games, 27-24. The Crimson Tide move to 6-1, 5-1. Uh, 5-1. For Alabama, look, your tough road tests are almost over. Like, Bama goes to South Carolina and they go to Auburn, but at Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, all got to go to Bryant-Denny, man. We'll see what happens. Like, next week's – that South Carolina game's really scary because you played top 20 Vandy. You played top 10 Georgia, top 20 Vandy, top 15 Tennessee, top 20 Missouri. And you got to play Tennessee, and then you go to South Carolina before your bye. Like, that's a tricky spot. But if Bama wins their next 2, they're going to make the playoff. Because I think they'll beat LSU at home. I think they'll beat Oklahoma at home. They obviously beat Eastern, and then they got Auburn. So, look, they might run the table in the SEC. It's looking something up. I don't want to know what my cat just knocked over. I don't know. Like, let me see who's in the chat. Where do we put Bama now in the college football, like, the hierarchy? So they'll still be like for the poll for next week. Let me just look up the top 25 because we still have so many games today that kind of change things. So they'll jump the loser of Oregon, Indiana. So that puts them up to 7. Maybe they jump like A&M. I got you. I saw the next one. Maybe they jump like A&M. They're not going to jump Ohio State. They're not going to jump Miami. Not going to jump Oregon or Indiana. They'll jump the winner, but not the loser. So that gets them up to 7, or the loser, not the winner. Sorry. Maybe, like, we'll see what Oklahoma does. Like, they'll peak up at like 5, 6, maybe. Kind of depends what OU and A&M do in their respective games. Ole Miss, I think, won. They did not look impressive in the slightest. But knowing how the AP Bowl, they won by 3 over a really mediocre Washington State team. So Bam will probably jump up to like 5 or 6, 7, maybe 5 if an upset happens. Everything's on the table, man. Like, I remember Look, they lost. I said Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. I was told I was wrong because, he had a good record at Washington. Wow, look at me being right again. That's crazy. We watched Notre Dame get smoked by lose to Northern Illinois at home, and people are still taking one-game sample sizes seriously. Like, that's crazy. And that could mean the same thing for Mizzou. Mizzou still might be it's still good. I still think this Mizzou team's pretty good. I still think they're a top 15 team in the country. They're just not a top 10 team in the country. And if you don't have that buffer, it's going to get hairy, man, because Texas A&M's a top 10 team. You're going to get them at home. OU's a top 10 team. You're going to get them on the road. Vanderbilt's a top 20, top 15 to 20 team in the country. You get them on the road. Is Mizzou's season over? No, of course not. Like, if Mizzou goes 10-2, they're going to make the playoff. Like, that's it. Like, you go 10-2, you're in. 9-3, a lot of craziness is going to happen. It's still plausible because, you covered the 3.5. Like, you had the ball at the 50-yard line with a chance to win with 50 seconds left, or a chance to at least tie. So you didn't get crushed. You played pretty well today, which is where a lot of my frustrations with the coordinators come in. Like, you just need that little extra oomph, and you just didn't have it. 9-3, like, you lose to A&M by like a point. You lose to, or a score, you lose it to like Oklahoma, like on a goofy, like 9-3, there's a path, but I don't think possible. You got to go 5-1 against the back half of the schedule, and it starts next week. You lose to Auburn, you're done. Because if you can't beat Auburn, you're not beating probably Oklahoma on the road. You're probably not beating Texas A&M. And now you're looking more at like an 8-4 team, which is where I had you at the beginning of the season. Just kind of is what it is. Season's far from over. You get back on track with a win next week against an Auburn team that we'll see where they're at, after another, if they lose tonight, even if they win. Man, just frustrating. Like, you had every opportunity to win that football game, and you just didn't give your best player the ball, and then you got game scripted out of being able to give your best player the ball because you're down 2 scores with 4 minutes left. Just super, super frustrating. But that's who Mizzou is, man. Like, it's just, it's who they've been my entire life. They've been good. That 2013 team was awesome. That 2017 was amazing. The 2023 team, great. You played the powerhouse programs. In 2007, it was Oklahoma. 2013, it was Auburn. 2023, it was LSU and Georgia, and you just weren't good enough. Good, not good enough. I've said a lot on this show and in various groups I'm in that Mizzou's never going to win a national championship. They're not in football. You don't recruit at a level to win a national championship. There's like 18 schools that can win a national championship. Mizzou's not on that list. You're kind of hoping to make the playoffs, and with how Mizzou or the SEC now going to a 9-game schedule, that just became infinitely harder. Because the Big Ten fans had to cry and whine because a third of their conference sucks. Ooh, you had to play. You had UCLA, Purdue, Wisconsin, Michigan State. Now I think you have to throw into that group. Look, I like Jonathan Smith, but yikes. Wisconsin's awful and kind of now lost in the wilderness. Like Minnesota, like whatever. Frustrating, just frustrating. When I'm not so emotional, I'll be back Monday for Missouri Tigers Live. We'll talk more about this game, obviously. We'll kind of break down some more stuff. I'll have more thoughts. I'll be a little calmer. I won't be as ranty and ravey. But, man, like, seriously, one of those, like, if not now, when for Mizzou? To beat Alabama, to emerge as a national program, and you just, again, didn't do it. You got in your own way again. I'm trying to see if I see anything from like any Mizzou quotes before I hop off here. Just frustrating, man. In the under, too. I think it was 51.5. So you covered and just annoying. Just frustrating. Oh, well. Is what it is. You guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Man, you let one slip away because you were good. Not good enough. This is Missouri Tigers Postgame Live. I'm Zach Ramilius. Again, we'll be live Monday for Mizzou Live. It's a holiday for me because I work at a federal bank. So I don't work at a federal bank. I work at a bank, excuse me. So I have Monday off, so we'll have time to prepare for that show. We'll look back at this game. We'll talk a little more about Auburn as my cat, again, starts to yell at me. And I'm getting off. Relax. Come here. This is my co-host, Ollie. Oh, now you don't want to be on camera, do you, Ollie? Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me see. David, again, thanks for always being here. Nick, I don't know if for Nick or Nicholas. Ollie, can you be quiet for like 2 minutes, please? Thanks for hopping in here. Thanks, you guys. Alabama, congrats. Like, I picked Alabama for the season to win the national championship. I don't know if they can, based off what I've seen, but they certainly will make a strong case. Thank you for watching. This is Missouri Tigers Postgame Live. We will be back on Monday. Enjoy your Saturday of college football. Enjoy baseball, if that's your thing. The hockey season started. And you all have a wonderful rest of your day. MIZ, man, just let go of the rope.